So what I'm seeing in the silver market now is different from 2008 or 2011. Whereas and this comes back to when does the manipulation end? And the manipulation for me is just generally that there is a silver futures market, that you can sell more paper than physical that exists. But that's true in any futures market. It's gas and coal and whatever. And that's why you see these short squeezes in whatever nickel or gas or natural gas, whatever it might be, because you have more paper and you don't have enough physical. And that's what happens when it just happens to be in the precious metals too. So, what I was saying is that now, if we take what was happening let's say 2011, when silver was moving to 50 very quickly, if you look at the physical premiums, they were actually negative premiums, meaning it was cheaper to buy a physical coin of silver than it was to buy a share of SLV. That was, at the $40, $50 area. So what that shows, it was just paper speculation. It was just like people saying, oh, this thing with 3 letters, SLV, maybe they didn't even know what it was, is going up. So they tried to chase it and then they all got smashed. So now what's happening is that SLV, I think, had its third highest day up. Was it maybe Thursday last week, was it? I think it went up like 10, 11% or something like that, maybe 9%. I looked at the SLV chart. It was the third biggest up day. Now, usually on an up day, SLV is going to have to put more silver in the trust in order to make it go in tandem with the futures price, so that there are more shares, so that it compensates for demand. You don't want SLV trading at a premium to futures. They don't want that. So this time, you would have expected that SLV would have added silver, but it didn't. It sold off silver. It had to contract the amount of shares because the demand for SLV wasn't there. So why was silver going up? The answer is it's in the premiums. It's in the physical market. That's where the demand was coming from. Open interest went down during that spike, which means it's not in that derivative market either. What's happening is the premiums are staying up. The demand is in the physical market. People are buying coins now. That did not happen in 2011, did not happen in 2008 very much. It happened a little bit. Now it's happening very strongly. We have record premiums of 40% in junk silver, and those aren't going away.
I've been pretty fortunate in that I've been able to convince my family to buy physical gold and silver and kind of help them wrap their head around what's going on. And so they've followed my advice, which is great. But for your average person, what do you think it will take to wake them up to the fact that gold and silver is real money? And do you think this is already starting to happen to a certain extent?
Average person, well, we're talking about what, 80-90% of the people? I mean, how many people really understand what money is? Even among the camp even the sound money camp, there's this whole Bitcoin camp, and they have some correct ideas, but I'm very much not in the Bitcoin camp. Not that I think it's a problem, but I don't think it's going to survive a monetary collapse, because I think it's just another derivative of money on top of the other layers. So when will the average person wake up? When he sees that he's got to get rid of money or he's going to starve to death. Unfortunately, I mean, what we're doing is we're not trying to wake up the average people. I don't talk to the average person. I talk to the people like you and like Chris Marcus and John Adams and this crowd that we're trying to get the people that sort of kind of understand that it's money, but they don't get it quite perfectly. Nobody gets it perfectly. I don't get it perfectly. But we're trying to wake up the leaders of various countries, communities all around the world, so that they have as much money as possible, so that they can retake the reins of society when everything collapses and really help people, so we don't devolve into this chaotic dystopian nightmare. We want as much. We want the leaders to have, on whichever level leader that you are, to have as much money as possible, real money, which means you'll have as much power as possible, which means you'll be able to counteract, the bad actors here that are trying to restart the inflationary system and steal everything from everyone. So yeah, we're trying to wake up the leaders. The average person will wake up when the average person wakes up, and most of them won't wake up in time, but we'll be able to help them, which is why we have to wake up now.
So you've mentioned that during the hyperinflation in Weimar Germany, a house could be bought for around 75 ounces of silver. And you also said it's possible that we could see such a scenario unfold again. So could you explain how this is actually a realistic possibility in your view?
Yeah, it's just a question of math. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying it happened in the past, and because it happened in the past for a brief period in a monetary crisis, it seems reasonable that in another monetary crisis it will happen again. Maybe it won't, but there is historical precedent for it, is what I'm saying. So just basic math. In the Weimar hyperinflation, you could buy a nice house in Berlin for about $100. If we had foreign exchange students, exchanging $100 bills for these nice pieces of real estate in downtown Berlin. So $100 back then, it was $21, $20.65 or something an ounce, between $20 and $21 an ounce for an ounce of gold, right? So a $100 bill is about 5 ounces of gold. And in a monetary crisis, what generally happens is central banks and banks go after gold. The public can't go after gold because it's too expensive, so they go after silver. And then the gold to silver ratio descends to about 15 to 1, which is historically the monetary average before 1873 when silver was demonetized. So in an environment where silver coins are money along with gold, then you generally have something around a 15 to 1 ratio. So 5 ounces times 15 is 75. Is it going to last? No, it's not going to last. It's not going to be like you're going to have like a steady, market of 75 ounces for a house. I'm saying at the peak of a panic, when people need silver because the gold substitutes don't work. And when gold substitutes don't work, you need actual silver to divide gold into retail amounts for maybe a few weeks, maybe a month or two at most. And that's even pushing it. Then in a panic, when people need physical coins to survive because they need to divide labor, then you could probably buy a house with 75 ounces of silver. So when you have that price, do it.